Many imagine that working at a top strategy consulting firm looks something like this. Flying around first class, getting driven around in nice cars, mingling with titans of business, having nice dinners, while making a shitload of money. Is this really what lifestyle at McKinsey, BCG and Bain looks like? Stick around for a reality check on consulting. Let's go. Let's start with travel. Under travel, we subsume flights, hotels, cabs, and rental cars. It's no secret that you travel a lot as a consultant. As for work flights, you'll usually fly business class if you're working at one of the MBB firms, but it depends on the region. Let's start with the pros. Flying business class is of course a nice perk as you'll be served food during the flight. This can range from a multi-course dinner on a long-haul flight to some mediocre stuff on short flights. But there's no denying that flying business is comfortable, as you'll board the plane first, have more space, and also get to enjoy free drinks. One of the best perks about flying though is that you'll get to collect bonus points or miles to level up your status with the airline. You can then use the points on private trips, for free flights or a business class upgrade when going on vacation. Now to the cons. If you think you can take your seat in business class and just relax, you're usually wrong. There are multiple reasons why MBB firms put you in business class, and one of them is that you can better work there compared to economy. For example, there's less screen peeking, allowing you to maintain confidentiality with regards to your clients. Also, being the first on and off the aircraft gives you more time to work and gets you to the client side faster. So on most flights, you'll have your laptop open up, churning out slides and working on Excel models. Yes, you will get nice food and drinks, but you won't be chilling into the sunset. Also, air travel can be very tedious. Flights can get cancelled and you are stuck in a city far from home on Thursday or Friday evening, instead of spending it with friends and family. This happened to us quite a lot, and it's a major downer. Finally, after a couple of months, even fancy business class travel becomes routine, just like driving your car to work. Don't get us wrong, it's interesting and exciting at first, but it loses some glamour really quickly. Let's move on to the hotels. You'll spend many nights in hotels. We know cases of 220 nights in hotels in 1 year. That's not the standard, but you can expect 100 nights or more per year, depending on where your projects are located. So on to the pros. Yes, the hotels you stay in are usually very nice. Think of a nice gym, a spa area, or other nice amenities. And similar to the airlines, you'll collect bonus points for your stays at the hotels, which you can later use for free nights on vacation. Figuring out the hotels with the best bonus program is a sport among consultants. And a hint from our side, Bonvoy, the Marriott bonus program, is the best one in our opinion. Now to the cons. Yes, staying in fancy hotels is nice and the bonus points you collect are great. But most often, you don't get to enjoy the fancy hotels. You'll work until 10, 11 or past midnight and won't have time to relax in the spa or chill in the lounge. And oftentimes, you won't go for the nice breakfast either, as you're likely prioritizing sleep over spending 30 minutes having breakfast. So in the end, as long as your bed is comfy and you can rest well, the hotel is just fine. But there's no denying that the hotel points are great. Moving on to cabs. Cabs are a daily part of your job as you have to get from the airport to the client, to your own office, to the hotel, to dinner locations, home, etc. So let's get into the good and the bad. Starting with the pros, your daily ride from the hotel to the client is of course a carefree way to travel a city which you're not familiar with. You won't get lost and likely save some time compared to public transport. In cities you spend a lot of time in, it's also likely that you have your own driver, who's been driving you around in a nice car for some months or even years, and this can be quite cool. The cons are similar to the flights. You won't chill in a Mercedes S-Class and enjoy the massage function of the seats. I mean, yes, you might get to enjoy the massage function, but you'll be working while doing that. And if the driving style of your driver is rough, or you're not used to it, you'll get nausea. Next, rental cars. Let's look at the pros. If you need a rental car to get to the client, you get to pick a nice one. That's quite fun if you fancy driving. And again, you'll get to collect bonus points with the rental car company that you can later use in your leisure time. However, the cons with rental cars are quite significant. If you need a rental car, the client is very likely far away from the airport, too far for a cab ride. So you'll drive at least an hour. In addition, you can't work during that time, meaning that work will pile up while you're cruising around. And of course, you won't be able to relax as you need to be focused on the road. Needing a rental car was always a red flag for us when picking a project. Makes travel just so much more complicated and uncomfortable. Alright, we covered the big portion of travel. Let's move on to team activities. Team activities can literally be anything. Sports, cultural events, a night at a club, or just a fancy dinner. There are many pros when it comes to them. You will have a great time with your colleagues, and you will also get to try out new things. Ever wanted to drive a race car on a track? Or ever wanted to sit courtside at an NBA game? We actually did those things as part of our team activities. So team events are great, there is no denying that. However, there are also some cons that come along. If you spend an afternoon or evening doing a fancy team event, you won't be able to work in that time. So if you're in a busy project, your work will pile up. I guess you can see a pattern emerge in the cons department, and that's work related. We've been in teams that would rather work than do a team dinner in order to avoid the rest of the week getting super stressful. Also, if you're having dinner with clients, which happens a lot, not only does your work pile up, but a dinner with clients is usually not like dinner with friends. It's often more formal and sometimes even political. You have to be careful what you say, and it's more like work and less like spare time. Next, let's talk about compensation and benefits. This is a big selling point, especially for students looking into consulting. But in our opinion, it's not the most important aspect. But let's get into the pros and cons. The compensation at the MBB firms is great. As we've touched upon in previous videos, you'll be immediately in the top 5% of earners in your respective country. The career path is also very clear, and if you perform well, you know that you'll be making twice the amount you're making now in 2 years or so, depending on your level. In addition, there are of course the nice benefits like a good health insurance, free food and beverages at the office, a firm car, etc. But there are also cons that come with this great compensation package. You will work a lot. There's no denying that. And especially at analyst level, your hourly wage will not be exactly amazing, given that you will be working 60 plus hours a week, depending on the project. But if you like the job and don't mind the work-life balance, you'll be very well compensated, so nothing to feel too sad about. Let's move on to the senior people you work with. You'll interact with experienced professionals on a daily basis. Let's start with the pros. On the client side, you'll work with some of the leading executives in an industry. Will you get to have one-on-one sessions with them at analyst level? No. But you will get to be in meetings with them and can observe how they approach strategic decisions, what questions they ask, and how they think. By doing that, you will learn a lot. And besides the senior clients, you'll work directly with experienced project managers and partners in your team. You'll learn how a partner structures a document, how she thinks about the key messages, and how she positions them, and how to navigate the politics at the client, and so on. And on top of that, you will of course learn a lot about the industry. The list of cons here is relatively short. The only downside, if you can call it that, is that it's a high-pressure environment. Client executives expect impact from hiring consultants, so readouts with senior clients can be quite tense. You hope that the numbers in the analysis you prepared are correct, and that you didn't make a mistake in a footnote or mislabel a chart. This sounds trivial, but you don't want to be the analyst who made the mistake in front of senior clients or in front of your senior partner. But then again, it takes pressure to create diamonds, right? Alright, on to the next one. And this is that you'll get to know many different great and not so great companies across the globe. This point is closely linked to the previous one with the senior clients. But not only will you learn from the people, you'll also get to see how leading companies are set up. How is research and development of Apple organized? How does the investment process at Goldman for equities look like? How does the supply chain of Nike look like? How does the pricing at State Farm work? You'll get insights into these confidential processes and get to know a client firm inside and out. Later on in your consulting career, when you focus on an industry, you'll get to know your clients extremely well. You'll know the country heads personally, understand the strategic direction of the whole company, and also know the operational issues in specific regions or divisions. This helps tremendously, also when exiting consulting. And there aren't really any cons to this. The only one we can think of is that depending on the project situation, you might not get to work for the companies you like. If Amazon is currently not doing any projects with the consulting firm you work for, then you also won't get to work for them. But you can definitely gain insights at other tech companies, and these insights will be transferable, so no real downsides here. And last but not least, the people. We're not talking about the seniors, but the peers on your level. As for the pros, yes, the partners are also mostly nice and fun to be around, but what really makes the difference in your day-to-day job is the colleagues on your level. At the top consulting firms, you'll work with the brightest people with very interesting life stories. A former Olympic rower, a startup founder, and a nuclear scientist sitting in a room. This could be the setup for a joke, but it could also be your project team. People at consulting firms have very different backgrounds, but what they have in common is that they are bright and have drive. If you have a tough project with insane working hours and a difficult client, it's usually the people in your team that make the experience fun even so. And if people exit consulting, what they really miss are not the long working hours or the high pressure environment, it's the people they miss. All the benefits we mentioned before are great, and this might sound corny, but in the end it's the people that make consulting a great job. And on this one, actually there are no cons. Will you get along with everyone? No. But that's not different to anything else in life. So there you have it, a glimpse into consulting life. In the end, it's less about the glamour and more about the people and the learning experience. A recurring theme is the high workload, but then again, the perks, the points, the miles, they will make your life easier. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and activate the bell for more content like this. Let us know in the comments below if you have any questions or if there's a topic you'd like us to cover next. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.